Welcome to YouTube Science Communication! Hi there, my name is Maximus. This is maybe the 60th video that I've made for this class, and today's video is going to be about the Eastern Hemlocks, Tsuga Canadensis, right behind me. So this is a fairly young hemlock, I don't know, 5 years old, something like that. It's a nice tree. I'm gonna pick a twig so that we can look at what the needles look like. So the hemlock, Tsuga Canadensis, it's an evergreen tree. It's green all year round. This one looks like it's received some damage in the winter. There's a bunch of dead needles, but it's pretty healthy. So all these trees around me are hemlocks. They're gymnosperms, meaning they belong to a pretty ancient lineage of seed-bearing plants. Most of the plants you see out in the world are angiosperms, meaning they have seeds and flowers. Gymnosperms evolved seeds significantly earlier, like maybe 100 million years earlier than angiosperms. They do not have flowers, but they have a number of other important characteristics, like cones. Most gymnosperms have cones. The baby hemlock behind me is too young to have cones, but I will show you some cones later in the video. So hemlock is pretty easy to differentiate from other gymnosperms by paying attention to the shape of its needles and the way that they are arranged on the branch. Hemlock needles are quite flat, and you can see the branch itself is pretty flat. The needles are deep green on the front and kind of whitish on the back, and they're flat. So this hemlock here is a young one. Let's go up the stream bed a little bit and see if we can find some older trees. So this stream bed that we're in has eroded the landscape into a really steep valley, and as the stream continues to erode the earth around it, sometimes hemlock trees get caught in the fray and they fall down. All around me is just this tangle of hemlocks that have fallen over the winter as the stream continues to eat away against the valley landscape. And we can take advantage of these fallen hemlock trees to show you some physiological structures that normally would be way up in the canopy, totally inaccessible to humans, but now we can see them. Those are those cones that I promised you. The more I'm out here in the rain, the wetter I get. It's a lot of fun. So Tsuga Canadensis has both male and female reproductive structures on the same plant, but they're separated in space. Typically, the female parts, the cones, are lower down on the tree than the male parts that produce pollen, so that the pollen can fall down and land on the cones and thus fertilize and create seeds. Hemlock trees are hermaphrodites. Like I said earlier, hemlocks belong to a large group of seed-bearing plants called gymnosperms, which evolved millions of years before their flower-bearing, seed-bearing relatives, the angiosperms. Because hemlocks don't have flowers, they don't form the same sort of mutualistic pollinating relationship with insects or other animals that angiosperms, the flowering plants, do. But still, their ecological relationships with their surrounding habitat are quite sophisticated. Hemlocks are often seen in association with chanterelles, which are a really tasty mushroom, and they form whole forests with dozens or hundreds, even thousands of species living in and around their vicinity. In order to see a full-fledged hemlock forest, we'll need to leave the stream bed and go up into the canopy. So we started this video in a hemlock forest, but down the valley by the stream, where all the hemlocks were young, growing on the newly exposed soil from the erosion. There's the stream down there. Now we are up the valley in a more mature hemlock forest, and they can get quite big. Look at this tree! Isn't it magnificent? So hemlocks are some of the longest lived trees in eastern North America. The trees around me here are actually still relatively young by hemlock standards. They're all less than 100 years old. The oldest hemlock trees that we found are over 400 years old. They're really amazing organisms. You know, it's raining still really hard, but I'm surrounded by all this tree canopy and it just catches the rain. These trees create a whole ecosystem where mushrooms and mosses and ferns and all sorts of living creatures can live together in this lovely forest landscape. I think that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. This video is part of a class called YouTube Science Communication, where we learn together about the history of life on Earth and also learn how to make videos about it. If you liked this video and want to see more like it, you can hit the subscribe button. And if you want to learn how to make videos alongside us, check out our Patreon page. There's a link in the description, and it will tell you a lot more about what we are and what we do. I will see you in the next one.